Howdy, howdy, guys. Jake here with Happy Pipes. Today, we want to talk about surge protectors. In order to understand about surge protectors, first we need to understand what a surge is. When we're speaking of surge, we're speaking of electricity. Most people understand that the power coming into your home is constant. It's 120 volts, it's 100, 240 volts, and it's constant. And that simply is not the case. In fact, the power company is different organizations and different homes come online and use more power, it can dip. As people turn power things and all off, it can go up. And that going up is called a surge, the inconsistency of the power. Now, most modern devices today are able to accept a range of voltages coming in to a certain degree and doesn't cause any harm whatsoever. It's those bigger surges that we're concerned about, that we want to protect our home from. Now, they can go unnoticed, as well as sometimes you'll see the lights dim or the lights will brighten, or there's power goes off, power comes back on. All of those create major surges that can definitely cause damage to your home's plumbing or your septic system's electronics. Now, what we want to talk about is the application and why maybe septic and the plumbing stuff is a little bit more susceptible to surge, and why it's super important that we protect these devices that you have invested in over the course of their life. First, let's do a little show and tell. Let's show some pictures. We can actually jump to a job that we did here recently and just want to show you what this looks like. This is the air pump outside on a septic system. And if you don't have a septic system, bear with me. We'll get into all the different appliances and why. But this little air pump sits outside, and you can see this is the wire going over to it. Now, it's outdoor rated and it's designed to do these things, but over time, weed eating and dogs and people stepping on them and all these things can actually weaken every last point of this electronics. And a surge can expose those weaknesses, as well as it could be wet outside because of a rain. These aren't protected in any way. This is looking inside your septic. Don't gross out on me here. It's been freshly cleaned. But this is the spray pump. If you've got those spray heads that come on and pop off and go off inside your yard, this is the pump that drives those spray heads, and it's submerged underwater. Now, it was freshly cleaned, so it's not currently, but usually the water level's up here to the top of the pump. It'll rise up to here. The pump will cut on, it'll drop it back down. The whole thing is that this pump is in water all the time, and the connections to this pump are made, though waterproof and protected, they're made out in the outdoors where any kind of surge could expose some weakness there and obviously ruin a very expensive pump for you. Let's look at what this looks like inside. We'll look at another instance. If you have a grinder station, maybe you've got a small sump pump station in your basement that's protecting the lower floor. And if surge hits that unit and you don't have any idea, you can actually flood your entire home. If you have a grinder station outside your home that handles all your wastewater, then it's really susceptible, because now if that unit goes out just using a little bit of water, that can actually start backing up into your home. And that's what we're trying to avoid here. That's what we're trying to protect, both the device itself and any other damage caused by it actually not working. And we feel that even though this is a significant investment to protect these devices, it's a lot more economical than replacing them and dealing with the damage. So let's look at a couple of what options that we have. This is a point of use for the outdoor septic. This is an outdoor rated outlet that it has surge protection built in. Now, these surge protectors through the manufacturer basically have this warranty or policy in place, anywhere from 40,000 on up to 120 for some of the bigger units, $120,000, and they'll pay up to that amount to cover any damage caused by that power surge. So you got stuff plugged outside, God forbid something happens, it causes a fire, burns part of your home, you're covered up to those limits. And that's what we're really trying to do by preventing the surge from happening in the first place, by capturing it inside of this device and not letting it go to the actual application, to the air pump, to the spray pump, to whatever it is outside that we're trying to protect. We protect this device and that potential when there's got electricity and water and all these things mixing. The next is a specific one actually for your grinder station. The one for your grinder station actually mounts to the panel itself, and because it's 240 volts, it's typically for these grinder panels, this is a larger unit that can protect that. And then, of course, we have what we recommend the most. This is for the entire home. Now, this application, we would go in, remove your breaker panel. We'd actually have to use a breaker panel spot, so one would have to be available for us. And we would be able to mount this unit there with your breaker panel, and it would protect the entire home from surges, and not just the big surges, the little surges as well. So you're really going to extend and improve the life of all of your appliances, as it's helping to level out those curves in the power and prevent that higher voltage from coming into your home and ruining your home's devices, maybe even just weakening them and shortening the life of them. Once we purchase something, we want to make sure it gets as long a life as possible. And when you're talking about plumbing, you're talking about mixing power and water. And if we can make that as safe as absolutely possible, that is what we're trying to do. If you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out. Happy to answer. And that is all about surge protectors and your plumbing. Thanks so much.